What's wrong? We received a phone tip. Bomb hidden in this building. Get out.
121, 122, 123, 124.
This is Ipana Plus, the new squeeze bottle dentifrice.
126.
This is the container that gives you more brushing. This is your best buy, Ipana Plus. It saves you money. One squeeze bottle is a bigger value than 1, 2, 3 giant-sized tubes. And Ipana Plus has a wonderful new formula. Teeth feel cleaner, whole mouth more refreshed. It's easier to use, too. No more fighting for those last few squeezes. No more worry, will it stop working before it should? With Ipana Plus, when you think it's empty, just a flip of the wrist gives you so many extra brushings. And Ipana Plus stays good looking. You can leave it out where it's handy. And now, special sale, 20 cents off. Get Ipana Plus.
159, 160, 161.
Pretty thoroughly, Ben. Absolutely no sign of any explosive hidden in the building.
All right, thanks, Steve. I'd like the call was a phony, Fred. Tell them to wrap up and go home and let the tenants go back in the building. Right, Ben.
Call might have come from a crank. Maybe somebody in the building can tell if they're opening up a lead.
Either a crank or a psycho. Matt and I will be in later. Want to check with some of the tenants first. Think this is anything more than just a nut stirring up a little action? You never know.
No, gentlemen, I'm afraid I can't be of any help at all. See, I'm the owner as well as the manager, and I know my tenants pretty well. Nobody in this building would do such a thing.
Well, have you noticed any strangers hanging around this building acting suspicious?
Afraid not, Inspector. See, you fellas go to a lot of trouble for a crank call, don't you?
It didn't have to be a crank call. We might have found a bomb in this building.
I guess you're right.
99% of all these calls are phonies. However, we can't afford to take the 1% chance, so we have to check all the phone calls.
No, I can't think of anyone who'd do this even as a gag. Not a very funny gag at that.
No, not very. All right, Mr. Richards, thanks very much.
That's quite all right. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thanks very much.
Oh, a bunch of dead ends so far.
No. Mr. and Mrs. Nader.
Yes?
Or police officers. Your mother or father at home?
No, sir. They both work. Golly, some excitement, huh? Do you suppose some character really meant to blow this building up?
Well, don't let it worry you. What's your name?
Carol Nader.
Are you a student, Carol?
Yes, sir. Are you here checking on this man?
What man?
Well, the man who's been watching the building, of course.
You mean someone's been watching this building?
Sure. I used to see him when I was coming home from school.
When was the first time you saw him?
About a week ago.
What did he look like?
Well, pretty old.
How old?
40, I'd say. Maybe even older.
Well, where did you see him?
In a car. He was parked right across the street.
Did you notice what kind of a car it was or get the license number?
No, sir, but it was a small car, though. One of those sports jobs, I guess. Painted black.
Would you recognize this man if you saw him again?
Sure. He had dark hair, sort of medium complexion. I guess he was about average weight. Oh, and he had on a dark suit and a dark tie.
Well, when did you see him last?
Today. He was in the crowd while you were checking the building.
Oh? May we come in and talk to you a little more about this?
Sure.
What was this man doing all week?
He just sat in his little car and looked at the building. Once he stood by the car. Then he saw me watching him and got in and drove away.
Ever see the man in this building?
No, sir.
You ever see this man anywhere else before?
No, sir, never. Gave me the creeps.
Was anyone with him?
Nobody. Every time I saw him, he was alone.
Oh, excuse me, Carol. A call came in for Lieutenant Guthrie from the Hall of Justice. I've been looking all over the building for you. They want you to call back right away.
Can I use your phone?
Sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Carol, would you come down to the Hall of Justice and look at some photographs? I'd like to see if you can identify this man for us.
Lieutenant Guthrie.
Sure, I'd be glad to.
Here's my card.
We'll be right there. We'll contact you, Miss Nader. Thanks very much for your help. Another bomb call, anonymous. Inspector's operator thinks it's the same voice.
Where's it supposed to be this time?
Seal Stadium.
Searching the stadium. Seals have a game at 2:15 today.
Nothing yet, Lieutenant. Check the whole stadium thoroughly. We can't afford to take any chances. Fred, I want every known arsonist picked up.
What about this 2:15 ball game? You don't need a bomb to hurt people if they panic.
Talk to the groundskeeper.
Hello there, fellas. Anything I can help you with? Name's Dunlap. Gonna have to cancel this afternoon's game?
We don't know yet. Want to ask you a few questions.
Shoot.
Have you noticed anyone suspicious hanging around here lately, watching the stadium, perhaps?
No, I can't recollect any. Screwball, real screwball, anyone who would pull a thing like this. Yeah, how long have you been working here, Mr. Dunlap? Close to 5 years. What about anyone asking a lot of questions or appearing unduly curious about this stadium? Well, there was a man at that. A real character. Came around last week when the Seals were out of town. What did this character say to you? Well, he wanted to know how come I was here when the stadium was closed. I didn't even bother to answer him. Stood around a while and walked across the street and just stood there looking at me.
What did this man look like?
Oh, he's kind of tall. Hair was brownish, black maybe, dark I know.
How was he dressed?
We had a dark suit on, black maybe, dark necktie. He looked like a pallbearer. Is he driving a car? Yeah, that was black too. Small car, foreign maybe. Looked pretty new. Don't know the make. He got in it after a while and drove away. Did you get the license number? No, I didn't.
Thanks very much.
Well, there's nothing here. We looked the crowd over. Did you get anything?
We've got a fairly accurate description. The same man has been at both locations. Run the make through the B of I. Pick up anyone it fits.
Right. We're going to get a list of all the owners of black late-model sport cars from Motor Vehicle Sacramento. Any car smaller than a standard American make.
We'll get what we have on the air right away, along with the description of the man. Notify all stations to apprehend and hold for questioning.
Does Carol later identify anybody, Ben?
No, zero, Fred.
That list of sport car owners came in from Sacramento.
47 owners of black sport cars to check out in this area.
Well, let's get some help and get right on it. Don't want to waste any time. Police. Are you Mr. Daniel Livermore?
Yes, I am. Come in, please. What's wrong?
I just want to ask you a few questions.
Questions about what?
Do you own a black sports car?
Well, yes, I do. 55 MG.
License number?
BTG 230.
What about dark suit and tie, Mr. Livermore? Do you own those two?
Sure. Doesn't everybody?
Do you mind telling us where you were yesterday?
Well, I was right here working in my studio. I'm an artist.
Let's see. Can anyone verify that?
Does anybody have to?
Mm-hmm.
Well, my model was here. We were working all day. Her name is Marna Chapman. She lives over in Telegraph Hill. You can ask her. We never left here.
Do you live here alone, Mr. Livermore?
Well, no, as a matter of fact, I have a roomer. I own this place, but a roomer helps cut expenses.
What's his name?
Robert Avery.
Is he here now?
No, I don't know where he is.
What does he look like?
About my height, dark brown hair, distinctive face, little round-shouldered.
Do you ever lend your car to anyone?
Well, yes, as a matter of fact, Avery used it yesterday. He's been using it on and off for a week.
Matt, better get Asher to get a search warrant for this place right away.
Okay if I use your phone?
Yes, go ahead.
I demand command. I demand command. Gotcha, man. And here's command.
It's the greatest, it's the newest, it's the only new men's hairdressing and conditioner in the one and only Jet Spray can. That's command, big demand.
Yes, Alberto Command, the new Jet Spray formula for men only. With Command, you spray, and just a little, because it's so concentrated. Then comb, and that's it. There's no greasiness, no stickiness, because Command's exclusive 100% active formula atomizes, actually penetrates into each hair, down into the scalp, to give that lasting, well-groomed, sharp-brushed look men and women like.
Yeah, that's command.
How about a tube?
We got it, man.
Concentrated Tube Command. Same great formula for the man who likes that rub-on, rub-in feeling. Tube or spray, get Command. For the man.
Look, will you please tell me why you called for a search warrant? This is my house. I have a right to know.
Mr. Livermore, if we didn't think it was important, we wouldn't have sent for the search warrant.
Come in.
Here's a warrant to search the house. We'd like to have you stay here with Inspector Asher, if you will.
Go ahead. My bedroom's the first one down the hall. Avery's room is the next one.
Let's take a look at Avery's room first. Look at this.
Man.
Box of dynamite. Looks like some of the sticks are missing.
Mr. Livermore, do you have any idea at all where we could find Avery?
I assure you, if I knew where he was, I'd tell you. He borrowed my car yesterday. He didn't come home last night.
Do you have any idea where he's liable to be, sir?
No. I told you he was a strange individual. Moody, quiet. I never knew much about him. He had a job up till a few weeks ago, but he left that. Then he had to sell his car to get some eating money, and he was borrowing mine.
Did he have a checking account?
No, he always paid his room rent with cash. Said he hated banks. I have a feeling that Avery hated a lot of things.
Why do you say that?
Oh, I don't know. He never smiled. Always locked himself up in his room at night. No friends, always alone. That type.
Thanks for your cooperation, Mr. Livermore.
Right.
Fred, the lab find out anything about that dynamite they got out of here?
Yeah, 1-inch sticks. 20 of them missing if Avery had a full case to start with. A couple of spare detonating caps in the case, too.
How about Avery? Did BFI come up with anything on him?
Oh, one friar in 49 threatened to blow up a building in Oakland. He's sent to the state hospital in Mendocino. Released in 54.
Who's staying on stakeout here?
Fitzpatrick and Shelley.
Okay, Fred.
Station called just before I left home. They arrested Robert Avery. He's down at the hall now.
Did he have the missing dynamite in his possession?
Nope.
Is your full name Robert Avery?
That's right.
And where's your home?
Here? My mother died. I got nobody, just me, all alone. You want to know something? I like it that way.
You like sports, do you, Robin?
Yes.
Ever go to the track?
I like horses.
What about boxing, Robin?
Uh-uh.
Ever play baseball?
No.
Ever watch baseball games?
Yes, I like baseball.
Where do you go, to Seal Stadium?
No, hey, I don't really like baseball. I was just kidding.
Sure, Robert. You like to visit people, don't you?
Sometimes.
Did you ever visit an apartment building up on Leavenworth?
No.
Where'd you get the dynamite we found in your room, Robert?
I bought it.
Where?
I don't know. I bought it a long time ago. Out of state. I drove back with it, and then I kept it till I needed it.
You ever been in a state hospital, Robert?
You know that, huh? Why, ask me. I was sick, that's all, so they put me in a hospital.
Avery, was that a full box of dynamite when you bought it?
Yes, sir, 144 sticks.
We found it. There weren't that many sticks in it.
Yeah, that's right.
But where are the other sticks of dynamite?
Every man should have a case of dynamite. It comes in handy sometimes. Good protection against people who hate you.
Where's the rest of the dynamite, Robert?
Percussion cap, a little piece of wire, a couple of batteries, an alarm clock. Works fine. Big noise, big splash. It works fine.
What works fine, Robert?
Dynamite? That's what we're talking about, isn't it?
We're talking about your dynamite, Robert. Where is it?
Well, you'll see. You'll know when it goes off. Oh, it makes a big splash, big noise. Works fine.
You say you have a bomb set to go off somewhere?
The last 2 times I called you about the bomb, that wasn't true. This time... I don't think I'll talk about it anymore. You'll see.
Robert, is your dynamite protecting you against people who hate you? Is that it?
A man's got to protect himself.
Sure he does, Robert. You want to tell us who hates you? We're your friends, Robert. Maybe we can help you.
Everybody hates me. I hate everybody. Mostly I hate people who are happy doing what they're doing. I was never happy doing anything. It's a bad thing. Not being happy, isn't it?
Real bad. Yes, it is, Robert. Real bad. Now, would you like to tell us where those other sticks of dynamite are?
Well, you'll find out. You don't have to see them. You hear them.
Fred. Eddie. Book him at
at the detention hospital, 5050.3 of the W&I code. Matt and I will be upstairs in the lineup room if you want us.
You're wondering, aren't you? You're wondering if I really have a bomb hidden someplace? Well, you'll find out. All of you, you'll find out.
Oh, his answers were inconsistent, garbled, rambling lies. 1 minute tells the truth, the next, I don't know. What do you think, Ben?
You heard him. We are wondering, aren't we?
Yeah. That about does it for today.
Ben, I took Avery to the psychiatric ward. When I got back, there was a call for you from Dr. Albers, the hospital superintendent. I thought it might be important. He's on the phone now. Thanks, Fred. Operator, this is Lieutenant Guthrie. You have a call for me? Dr. Albers? Lieutenant Guthrie. You did? Thanks very much.
Avery do some talking?
He's been talking, all right. Said he hates people.
Giving the hospital the same routine he gave us.
He told him something else, too. He's admitted to hiding the missing dynamite. Said he hid it just before he was arrested in Daniel Livermore's house.
Well, he's a real psycho, Ben. You think it's true?
I don't know, Matt. We better find out pretty quick. He said it's set to blow at 12 o'clock noon. Look, think, Mr. Livermore. If you were going to hide a bomb in this house, where would you hide it?
I have thought. I don't know. The whole idea is preposterous. Avery didn't hate me. He never said or indicated that he did.
Avery's a mental case, Mr. Livermore. You can't tell what he's been thinking. Well, we've told you to get out of here, sir.
I'm sorry. I'd rather stay. This is my house. I'll stay at my own risk. Though I don't think there's much risk.
Ben, the men searched both bedrooms, the hall, bathroom, and kitchen. No sign of anything. I even had a man check under the roof.
All right, thanks, Tom.
Only 10 minutes to go if we aren't all wasting our time.
Did they check the walls and the floor for tampering?
Yes, they did.
Well, get Mr. Livermore out of here. Have him wait in your car. Get everybody out of here.
Clear the area. Get out of here. We found the bomb is scheduled to go in 5 minutes.
When you smoke a cigarette, you want flavor like this. Never too strong, never too weak. Always just right. With Pall Mall, you get satisfying flavor so friendly to your taste. No flat, filtered-out flavor. No dry, smoked-out taste. That's because Pall Mall's famous length of fine, rich-tasting tobacco travels and gentles the smoke, makes it mild, but does not filter out that satisfying flavor. And here's the proof.
Smoke traveled through fine tobacco tastes best. See how Pall Mall's famous length of fine tobaccos travels the smoke, gentles the smoke naturally, and makes it mild. Yes, the smoke is traveled over, under, around, and through Pall Mall's traditionally fine, mellow tobaccos.
Remember, with Pall Mall, you can light either end and get satisfying flavor so friendly to your taste.
Buy Pall Mall famous cigarettes. Outstanding.
And they are mild.
What about Avery?
We're sent back to the state hospital at Mendocino. This time there's little hope for parole.
Well, I feel sorry for a character like him, Ben.
Well, don't.
Why not?
If Livermore had found that bomb, do you think he would have tried to disarm it himself?
Well, you might have tried to disconnect the wires to the clock, yeah.
Well, that would have detonated Avery's bomb.